Hi guys and welcome back. Today I wanted to talk to you about Borderlands Online, the Chinese exclusive Borderlands MMO that was announced in 2014 and cancelled in 2015, because there is currently a project that aims to try to restore the game. And it is a project led by Epic, a modder and fellow YouTuber, and they might need your help if you know anything about DM Spy or any of that other software. And Borderlands Online, in case you don't know anything about the game, was essentially a MMO that was set in the Borderlands universe. It would have had a few unique features such as gun crafting, and it also had some timed bosses. And there was also this sort of PvP thing, where there was like 3 different PvP modes and all of this sort of thing. It was an entire MMO that was well set in the Borderlands universe, and it's something that I was super interested in, despite it being Chinese exclusive. At least for that time. There was hope for me that it would be brought to the West, but it never did. Instead, it got cancelled. So, today we're going to be talking a little bit about it and about the project. The reason why we're talking about Borderlands Online today is because of the YouTuber and modder Epic NNG and his team, as they are working on a project to resurrect Borderlands Online. And I hear you ask, well, you said it was cancelled. So how was that even possible? You see, Epic NNG and his team have went on this long journey to find a copy, and when I say long, I mean they literally scoured Chinese websites and all of this. They even found ghost links and things that might have led them to unsecure places on the web just to find a copy of Borderlands Online, and they did manage to find a publicly placed copy of Borderlands Online that they could download. So they downloaded the copy down, and as it is an MMO, you can't run it locally, you can't run it by itself. So they have had to break through the entire login system, they have had to bypass all of these sort of systems just to get into the character creation screen, which they have done. They have gotten into the character creation screen, giving us some insight that we probably really haven't had before. And it is one of those things that is super interesting to see. But more so than that, they have also uncovered that the game didn't run on Unreal Engine 3 as was expected because of the way it looked and the way it ran. It looked a lot more like the original Borderlands rather than something like Borderlands 2. And the original Borderlands ran on UE3, so they went in expecting it to run on UE3. It does not. What it does run on is Unity, and that is where we are sort of at. They are at the character creation screen, and we know the game runs on Unity. The reason why a project like this is important is not just so we can say, well, okay, now it's playable. It is for preservation. The idea of preserving a game, especially one that is as weird and unique as Borderlands Online, is kinda interesting. It is one where, honestly, I don't think 90% of people who play Borderlands these days probably haven't heard about the game. And most people doesn't know it exists. And the fact that it's been dead for so long, if it then becomes playable, it would be a miracle just for the pure perspective of preservation. But it's also another look into how the Borderlands universe could really have evolved itself past where we are now. It is an interesting look back into a project that for me was super exciting as somebody who looked at Destiny and thought, bah, not my thing, and wanted something that was more Borderlands-y. Borderlands Online really seemed to would have provided that for me. It was a game that had a bunch of different modes and it had different MMO features and all of that, and it was really cool to see. And I genuinely hope a project like what Epic NNG is working on right now with resurrecting it goes through. However, there is a chance it might not, because you see, Borderlands Online and his entire project with resurrecting it have been getting a little bit of media attention. And here's the thing, it's not bad that it's getting media attention at all or any of those things. What however might end up happening is that 2K and Take-Two can feel threatened and remove their model, or rather cease and assist their project, because it's taken attention away from Borderlands 4. It is a concern that Epic himself raises within the video that he uploaded about this, which I highly recommend you go and watch. But it's also a concern that is well worth having, as he points out himself, that the H2M mod also got taken down for those reasons. And we see constantly with fan projects and other things being taken down, maybe not necessarily for hype reasons, but because it's using an intellectual property, even if it's being released for free or developed entirely for free using entirely unique ideas. It is such a shame to see projects like that disappear, and I sincerely don't hope it will happen with the Borderlands Online Resurrection project, because the idea of having it resurrected, the idea of 10 years after it got shut down, it comes back as a phoenix from the ashes, is honestly really cool. It is one of those things where I think there is definitely a demand to try it, just to see what it is, especially with things like crafting and all of these weird elements that the trailer showed off. It would have been nice to get to experience more of it, and we really haven't. And there really hasn't been a lot on it since then, so I think the fact of the matter is that it's cool. Like, it is just straight up cool, right? And it's great for game preservation. And it's also important to mention that these sort of projects are entirely for archival purposes. There's no commercial gain here, there's nothing like that, there's no user data harvesting, anything going on. It is something that has been done because Epic and his team, they're passionate about Borderlands. And it's really cool to see this happen. Now, there is, however, a bit of an issue. You see, after getting to the character creation screen, Epic and his team have sort of been at a brick wall. Not just because it's made in Unity and all the other games are made in Unreal, but also because it is a lot of information to package and work with. A lot of translation, a lot of all of these things that needs to be done. And Epic in his video has a call to anybody who knows what they're doing, who's already worked on these sort of projects, to come and help. And I will have the same here. The thing is, this is not a good project to start. So if you're like me and you are a complete idiot with Unity Ripper and DM Spy, then this is probably not the time for you to shine. But if you have experience, if you know what you're doing, if you've worked with these tools before, I'm just gonna say from myself as well, please go and help them. I have linked Epic's channel and the video in the description and the pinned comment, because it is incredibly important that you go and watch them instead of this when you're here. This video is only made to spread even more eyes on the project. That is the only reason why I'm making this. Because quite frankly, this project deserves the attention that it's getting. It deserves way more. And it is cool to see, and it's made by cool people. I think as a final note, I want to say that I have the best wishes to Epic and their team. I genuinely hope that they get this thing to work. I hope that this all works out, and I'm really looking forward to any updates, because Borderlands Online is a game that has meant a lot to me over the years. It's something that I have thought about from time to time, especially as I got into Destiny and all of these other games. And it's something that I would love to see brought back, just to experience it at least. Just to see what it was like and what was all about it. And even if it isn't brought into a playable state, which there's no guarantees it will be, just the fact that we are getting more information about it is really nice, because it has been locked behind this iron curtain of being Chinese and all of these marketing things that we never really got. And it's one of those things where I'm really excited about the fact that this exists, and I think it's really cool to see. So huge kudos to those people and to Epic and everybody involved with that project. If you have the capabilities, like I said, go and support them. If not, that's completely alright. Then follow from the sidelines, as I'll be doing. Share Epic's video, which is in the description, with your friends and family if you have the chance, and anybody who might be able to help. Other than that, I just wanted to say thank you for watching, and also apologies for this not being at a usual upload schedule. I've been sick recently, so this was pushed back quite a bit. That is on me. I apologize for that, but I'll see you all in the next one, and hopefully on Borderlands Online when that eventually comes up and running. Anyway, I'll see you all later. Bye.